Hi everyone, this is Kyle Libby from Techplicity, and today we're going to be talking about getting your pictures from your digital camera onto your computer using Picasa. So in the previous video, we talked about how you can get Picasa, which is a free photo editing program made by Google, onto your computer. And to do that, we went on to Picasa's website and we downloaded the Picasa installation file, which again, as you'll recall, was this file right here that says Picasa 3.6 setup. We then installed Picasa onto the computer, and now we have the Picasa 3 icon right below it, right here. So now that Picasa is on the computer, this setup file right here is no longer needed. Just like the analogy we used of buying a desk or something that you assemble at a store like the Home Depot, once you've assembled that product, you don't need to save the cardboard box that it came in. So this setup file we can get rid of just by clicking it and then dragging it to the recycle bin. So now that we got rid of the setup file, we're ready to use Picasa to get our pictures from the digital camera onto the computer. Now you'll recall in the first video we used a method that you already have available to you on your computer. We plugged the digital camera into the computer, a little window came up on the screen, and we chose to transfer our pictures onto the computer. It's actually quite similar using Picasa, so let's see how this looks. To start, first I'm going to connect my digital camera to my computer using that USB cable that we talked about in the first part. So I'm going to connect the slightly larger rectangular shaped end into my computer, and then the smaller shaped end into my digital camera. Now again, as I mentioned in the first part, if your camera doesn't automatically turn on when you connect it to the computer, just press the on-off button. Or in some computers it's called the power button, depends on your camera. And now we get that window that we got in the first part. And the third option right here says copy pictures to your computer, and this is going to be using Picasa 3. And so what that means is we can use sort of the same window, but instead of using this middle option that we used in the first section, instead we're going to use Picasa 3. And if this is what you want your computer to do from now on, you can actually click this box right here next to always use this program for this action, and then the next time you plug your camera into the computer, it will automatically open Picasa for you. But I'm going to leave that the way it is for right now. I don't want it to do that just yet. Right now I'm just interested in opening up Picasa to bring my pictures onto the computer. So you just make sure that Picasa 3 is highlighted, so you want to make sure you see this blue box, and then click OK. And now what's going to happen is Picasa is going to open, and on the left-hand side of the screen we're going to see all of the pictures contained on the camera, and on the right side of the screen we're going to see each picture as it's being brought in. Or I should say each picture as it's being sort of displayed on the camera. They aren't being brought in just quite yet. So right now, here are the pictures that I have on my camera. Picasa tells me that there are 7 files on my camera. And so in this case, a file is a picture. So I have 7 pictures on my camera. And down here towards the bottom of the screen, it says that it's going to import those pictures into the My Pictures folder on my computer. And if you recall from the first part, this is where we put our pictures using the first method that we used to transfer pictures onto the computer. So Picasa is going to do the same thing. It's going to put these pictures into the My Pictures folder. And this is usually the best place to put your pictures. You can think of it sort of like a virtual photo album where you can just keep track of all of your pictures. Just like in the first part, we need to give this set of pictures a title. And so in this case, the pictures are of a hawk that was flying around near my house a few weeks ago. And so I'm just going to type in Hawk. And then right next to that, it says after copying, and right now it says leave card alone. And you'll notice that there's a little white arrow pointing down. Again, whenever you have that white arrow pointing down, that means there's something more there. So this is called a drop-down menu. So if I click on that, I get two other options. I can have the photos that I copy onto my computer deleted. So once Picasa puts those photos onto my computer, it will delete them from my camera. Or I can have Picasa just delete everything on my camera. So which one you choose depends on what you're doing. So one example is, let's say I bring in 50 photos and I leave those photos on my camera, and then I come back and I bring in 50 new photos. I might want to delete everything on the card because then everything will have been put onto the computer. But there are some instances where you might want to delete only the photos that are being put onto the computer, or just leave the camera alone completely and not delete anything. And that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to say leave card alone. And so again, that card is referring to the memory card on your camera. So that's where all of your pictures are stored. So I'll check that. And then if you want, you can click on each one of these little pictures on the left-hand side. These are called thumbnails. And so if I click on that picture, on the right-hand side, I'll see a larger sort of example of what that picture looks like. And so here are the different pictures. Now if, for example, that last picture is a little blurry, if, let's say I decide I don't really want to put that onto my computer, you'll notice that right below it on the right-hand side there's an X. If you click on that, that's going to exclude that picture from being brought onto the computer. So if there are some pictures you don't want to put onto the computer, you just select them right here on the left side of the screen and then click on that red X. You can also, right here with these arrows pointing left and right, you can also rotate the picture. So you can see that right there, I just rotated the picture. So that's a nice quick way to rotate a picture if you took a picture sort of in portrait mode, holding the camera vertically, and you want to be able to rotate it. But right now I'm happy with how the pictures look. One other key thing to look for is in the top left-hand corner there's a box that says exclude duplicates. What that means is that if you have pictures on your camera that have already been put onto your computer, Picasa will make sure that those photos don't get duplicated when you bring in new photos. So I really can't think of any time when you would want duplicates, so it's best to just leave that box the way it is. And with that, we're going to click the Import All button, which you can see in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. And now Picasa is bringing the photos in, and here all the photos are right here at the top of the screen where it says Hawk. Now there's one other way, one other main way that you can bring photos into Picasa. So let's say that that window didn't pop up when you connect your camera to your computer. Let's say it doesn't automatically come up. One thing you can do is you can open Picasa. So right now my camera is connected, and I'm going to open Picasa by double-clicking on this shortcut. Again, a shortcut is a special type of icon that lets you open a program. And once I'm in Picasa, in the top left-hand corner you'll notice it says Import. Again, the process of taking pictures from your camera and putting them onto the computer is known as importing. And so if I click on that button, I get to the same sort of layout that I had before. So if for whatever reason that window doesn't come up on your desktop when you plug your camera in, you can just open up Picasa and then click on that Import button in the top left-hand corner. You'll also notice that Picasa has put little red X's in all of these pictures. That's because these pictures have already been brought onto the computer. We just did this a couple of minutes ago. And so Picasa recognizes that these photos are duplicates, and so it's not going to bother putting those onto the computer again, since they're already there. Now I'm going to go back. There's a tab right here that says Library. The library is where all of your photos are stored. So I'm going to click on that to go back to the library. And to see a picture sort of larger than just the thumbnail view, all you need to do is double click on it. So if I want to see this picture right here a little bit larger, I'll just double click on the picture, and now I can see it a lot better than just that small thumbnail image. And this is really what we're going to be talking about in the next part. We're going to be talking about how you edit pictures and sort of look at pictures in more depth than just what we've seen so far. So that is how you bring pictures onto your computer using Picasa. And as I just said, the next section will be about editing photos in Picasa. So thank you very much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next part.